Turning now to campaign 2012 and one of the most controversial amendments on the ballot here in Colorado. Now, if it passes, Amendment 64 could have the U.S. Justice Department suing the state. 64 would legalize the use and sale of small amounts of marijuana, but it would still be a federal crime. And now the Justice Department says it'll be watching the Colorado vote very closely. It's a story tonight you will see only on CBS 4. Stan Bush is here now. Stan, the Justice Department's stance came out of an in-depth look into our state's marijuana industry.
Jim, on Sunday, 60 Minutes will air a lengthy investigation into Colorado's marijuana industry. For drug enforcement agencies, marijuana has not been listed as a high priority. But for the Attorney General's office, they indicate that it might be one of theirs.
60 Minutes spent months looking at Colorado's marijuana business. But what won't make air on Sunday is this outtake from an interview with Deputy Attorney General James Cole. He leaves the door open to pursue the state in court should an amendment to legalize marijuana win in November.
What happens if that passes?
I think our posture is the same as it's always been, that we're going to take a look at whether or not there are dangers to the community from the sale of marijuana, and we're going to go after those dangers.
Marijuana prohibition has completely failed.
Betty Aldworth represents the campaign to legalize. She says they're undeterred by the possibility the Justice Department might sue the state with their potential win.
And we anticipate that the federal government will respect our state's right to do so.
Opponents say 64 will tie Colorado into an extensive legal battle, similar to the one Arizona faced with their immigration bill. That was largely overturned by the Supreme Court.
It puts Colorado in direct violation of federal law.
The campaign to legalize wants marijuana regulated like alcohol. But unlike prohibition, which ended in a federal amendment, 64 asks Colorado to go it alone and run against federal laws. Critics say the sentiment from this interview is proof 64 would eventually fail. But if it wins, it could be a cost very expensive for the state.
We can't afford this right now. We have so many other things that are budget priorities for Colorado.
The most recent polling shows Amendment 64 with 47% support. That's compared to 38% who openly oppose it. The amendment is heavily compared to a California effort to legalize pot in 2010. That effort led 3 months before the election, but was soundly defeated on Election Day. Jim.
Thank you, Stan.